Let me be first to tell you Happy Thanksgiving. And let me do that because I failed to do it Sunday, and I don't know who it was, but one precious soul walked out of there on the back Sunday morning and said, Happy Thanksgiving. And I realized I didn't tell any of y'all that Happy Thanksgiving. So, I didn't want to do it Sunday night because then you think something was wrong. So, anyway. We're glad that you're here. Hope that you have a good Thanksgiving. Suzanne and I do, and we have our brood with us, and we hope you have a great time together with your family as well. Miss Klein was a first grade teacher. She taught in the city, not in Nashville, but she taught in the city. And she taught underprivileged kids. The community was underprivileged, and so the kids she had, of course, were underprivileged. And she worked hard with them. She loved every one of them. She'd hug them, and she'd do what she could for them. But she loved those children dearly because she knew that they didn't have a lot. And it was Thanksgiving. And so in order to kind of do an activity together, and because she had kind of planned it, she gave them all a piece of paper. And she asked them to draw what they were thankful for. Draw one thing that you're thankful for. And so she looked, and of course she figured, there'd be a turkey there, and there'd be maybe a house, and maybe a grandmother or something. But there was a picture one little boy by the name of Douglas had drawn. And it was most unusual. It was a hand. Well, maybe that was the precursor to a turkey. Teachers will sometimes use a hand for a turkey. So he stood up as the children were standing up and explaining their drawing. He stood up and he said, "This is a hand." He said, "It's somebody's hand." And so the children around began to guess. Well, that's a policeman. Policeman. It's a hand of a policeman. A policeman, you're thankful for policemen because they keep us safe. No, it wasn't it. You're thankful for a fireman because they protect us from the fire in case of fires. And that's not it. And bell rang and change had to be done. And he didn't get to finish explaining the picture of the hand. So they were doing some math, and Miss Klein went up to little Douglas, kind of whispered lowly. She said, "Whose hand is that?" And he said, "That's your hand." And the story is that she would often hold his hand. He was somewhat shy and timid, and she would hold his hand, especially as they went out to the playground, but to other places, in order to kind of reassure him and to help him a little bit. Douglas, if you will, his admonition and his drawing of a hand reminds us of how we touch the lives of so many people. A lot of times without thinking, without knowing it, we touch the lives of people. We studied recently in Romans chapter 14, verse 9, Paul wrote to the church at Rome, and he says, "None of us live to ourselves, and none of us die to ourselves." There's a reality to that. We touch people's lives. My wife was so enamored with the homework that I gave you Sunday night. How many of you have done it? She has. School teacher. But I want to give you some more homework. Over the next 2-3 days, I want you to think of 7 people that touch your lives, that are alive. Next week, we'll just begin it on Sunday. You can do it ever how you want to do it. Email, text, snail mail, telephone call. But I want you to write a note or send a little just to that individual, a little call. "Thank you for what you do for me." It can be a note. It can be, like I say, email. It doesn't matter. Just get in touch with them somehow. How effective is this? I had an old roommate that did something similar to this about 9 or 10 years ago, except he did it with 30 people. I made his list. His note is in my files. It made my day. Try it and see. We don't live to ourselves. We don't die to ourselves. We impact others, and others have impacted us. And so while we've been spending time on Sunday mornings talking about really blessings that God's given us, we've talked about everyday blessings, and we've talked about the helpful things and the hurtful things, and we've talked about the happy things. We'll finish that series this coming Sunday. We've made a list of things God's given to us. Now here's something we can give to others. The great blessing, the great gift that we have for us from God is that of Jesus Christ that came to this world and died for us. In order really that we might have salvation, but also that we might give thanks. And this evening, if you're not a child of God, are you